Wrestling Podcast. And his name is John Cena.
And they'll probably condense it all to the part you need to see. That's why I've been okay with watching less, because they recap so much that it's like it's more efficient to like watch less.
Yeah.
And just listen to their recaps, because they're so concerned about you not knowing what's going on that they ram those recaps down your throat.
They just assume that all of their fans have a memory span of a goldfish.
Yeah.
I'd rather just lean into being a goldfish.
Yeah. I don't even remember what we were talking about.
Yeah, what are we talking about, Kyle?
We're talking about the fact that it is Friday, October 28th, 2016, and you're listening to On the Heels Wrestling Podcast. I'm Kyle.
I'm Ray.
And I'm Brittany.
We're three wrestling buddies who like to conversate and debate about our fascination and or strong feelings towards professional wrestling. Kyle, do you like that? Do you like that?
Do you know who Walt Clyde Frazier is? He used to like to use alliteration. He's a basketball announcer. You just would have made him proud, man.
Oh,
Conversate and debate.
Conversate and debate.
Styling and profiling.
Yeah. We started this
Rolex wearing. Diamond ring wearing.
We started this podcast at our former place of business, which gave us the space to shoot and beguile you on all the aspects of our favorite pastime without the confused looks we often got from the rest of the office.
Is that what that word means?
I don't know.
Okay.
We still haven't figured that out. We talked about this.
This podcast is about giving you consistent, bite-sized commentary on the world of professional wrestling, focusing primarily on WWE shit, their ever-expanding lineup, and we'll occasionally touch on the local indie scene right here in Seattle, Washington.
Yeah.
That's right. Clap, clap, clap. Speaking of local shows, tonight is 3-2-1 Battles Horror Business.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're local, get down to South Lake Union. Go to Evolve Fitness. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a crazy show. The reserved seating is already booked. There's plenty of room for standing.
Yes.
You'll get nice and warm, getting cozy with people.
Wear your costumes. It's not
Yes.
required, but it's definitely going to be fun because all the wrestlers are going to be in costumes as well.
It's gonna
which
be
will just
dope.
be a whole different kind of meta.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's
There's
going to be
a lot.
awesome.
Oh my god.
So check out facebook.com/321battle, and you could get the link to the stream there if you're not local, because it's a good show. EvolveUnderground.com is also the place you can check it out, and that's at 9 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah, doors open at 8:45, but now there's a bar in the lobby, so if you show up ahead of time, you can just start drinking. Yeah.
I'm just going to show up
I'm
drunk.
gonna get there so drunk.
Yeah,
Like,
me
You
too.
can hang out with my mom.
oh sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm now work right next to three. Like not
Oh,
too
shit.
And I'm not driving.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
This is dangerous.
Okay, so that being said, every week we'll either recap the previous WWE's shows, network specials, pay-per-views, what have you, or we'll hold a roundtable discussion on a particular topic. This week we're going to recap the last last Raw, and give you some Hell in a Cell predictions.
I think it's the last couple Raws.
Last couple
right?
Raws,
Yeah,
yeah,
because
yeah.
we didn't talk about Goldberg showing up, and then we didn't talk about the
That's
answer to
true.
Goldberg
That
showing
is-
up.
That is absolutely true.
Right.
They all kind of roll into one now anyway.
Yeah, it kind of feels that way.
6 hours of content really just gives you a good hour and a half, too.
Yeah.
So when you watch the Hulu cut, it's only 3 hours. for 2
Oh
Raws.
shit!
Yeah.
Oh shit! So we
Yeah.
want to start talking about the main event. Which
Yes.
which main event do you want to talk about, Ray?
I want to talk about what should be the main event of the pay-per-view, which is Charlotte and Sasha.
I have words about this.
All right, Brittany, hit me with those words.
Okay, so basically what had happened for people that may not have been aware of sort of the social media, I don't want to say disaster, but definitely maybe a faux pas
Yeah, faux
is a better way to
pas,
say it.
yeah.
But Mick Foley, who's been really vocal about women's wrestling and them getting a better position on the card and them getting better storylines and whatnot and promoting all of the things that have been happening with NXT and the women's roster, basically says on his personal Facebook page that he's very proud of Sasha and Charlotte for being the main event at the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And this happens after Raw, I think it's like Tuesday morning, on his Facebook page. And it just like fire on the internet. Everybody's like, oh my god, because this is incredible,
This
right?
is history making. I mean, they are the two people on the main poster.
Yeah, so they're on the poster, which is the first time two women have ever been on a poster for pay-per-view. Only
them, yes.
Only women, which is insane. It's the first time women are in Hell in a Cell, so it's already a lot of firsts. And then to be told that, like, oh my god, they're the main event. But it felt kind of weird because this kind of stuff normally waits until Raw, where it's a big announcement, so Michael Cole can say it's a big historic moment. And then he pulls back and says, well, it might not be the main event. We don't actually know what the main event is yet. And then this past week on Raw, they basically just kept saying, this is a triple main event. We have 3 different Hell in a Cell matches. And I'm like, this is fucking bullshit.
Yeah, because, well, like, if you want to say that, like, it's a double main event, like, you know, of equal importance because the men and women's title are of equal importance.
Because let's be real, the U.S. title does not belong in there.
That's the part that pisses me off the most is like, okay, I get that Roman Reigns and Rusev are also in a cell match, but to say that they are, quote unquote, the main event is absolute bullshit.
It feels like the science fair where everybody got a participation ribbon.
Yeah.
So what's the actual main event now?
It's a triple main event.
This is why it's so confusing. I don't even know.
The last one on the card is the Universal title.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the main event.
Yes.
Right.
Like, all that is just fluff. Like, the last match is the main event.
They did this shit in Brooklyn, too, the first time they did NXT, where Stephanie comes out before the women's match and says, we're now promoting this to the double main event. I'm like, no,
it's not.
It's still not at the end.
Yeah.
Still the best match on the card, but not a main event.
What would be stupid, but would be an actual double main event is if you put up 2 rings and had the matches at the same time.
That'd be awesome.
That would be.
You have an aneurysm, but that would truly be a double main event.
The cameraman would not know what to do.
And then based on the crowd engagement, like that's the one that got lighting. It's like it fluctuated with. Yeah.
I'm loving this idea.
Oh man, it's like the extra level of interaction.
It's like a Glee or any of those like college like Pitch Perfect rock off kind of things. Like it's like a competition.
Got the 2 groups fighting a cappella over
They're
each
wrestling off.
Yeah. Well, so let's stick with that match, or at least. We want to be talking about the women's match, so I'm
Yes.
going to keep talking about the women's match,
I'm fine
right?
with it.
So with the contract signing for the WWE Sweetheart division, as I like to call it, or as they seem to like to call each other, because that's
Sweetheart.
awesome.
So it's so funny.
That really kind of drug on more than like I get what they're trying to get across. But it was foot and mouth all around, I thought, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
and it brought up a lot of parts Brittany's been saying about Sasha just having a rough time being a face.
It also felt
She's
like...
getting better.
She's getting better, but like then Charlotte's just so good. I mean, Charlotte's bit about
on
the Queen and all
point.
that stuff, yeah, and like interrupting Mick Foley and yeah.
The other thing, I felt like they didn't like collaborate on writing their shit together because I felt like they were each saying their part and just saying it louder.
Mm-hmm.
And saying it louder, and
well,
then
that's how you argue on the internet nowadays. So.
Yeah, and then and then add "sweetheart" to the beginning of your sentence, which is funny because I felt like
or "sweetie." Sometimes you flex.
Yeah,
Sweetie.
oh my god,
show your range.
And
Sweetie.
it's funny. It's just like you're turning this into the hell in the fucking hell in the passive aggressive cell. Like it's like I wish it was like rated M and it was like. Instead of sweetheart, it was just bitch. Mm-hmm. Like, bitch, I am the women's champion. Like,
right.
Yeah, just like fucking.
Cena gets to say it.
Does he get to say bitch?
Oh yeah, he calls the men little bitches all the time.
Oh man, like because I mean, sweetheart is just such a. It's.
I really feel like it's a like they're trying to insult each other and say like a name, kind of like the whole women calling each other bitches thing. Right?
It's like it's being post-censored for cable, right?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like they
It's
actually are saying that, and someone's just going back to sweetheart. Like,
right.
It's
It's like you're trying to come up with something you can say that's catchy that like captures the emotion you're trying to convey, which is how you end up getting things like sparkle crotch.
Yeah, or stupid idiot.
Stupid idiot, but that one's good.
That one's really good.
That one's
it's the inflection.
Stupid idiot.
I also don't like to me she's Charlotte, not Charlotte Flair.
Oh yeah, they started
And
doing that thing.
that gets
yeah.
really awkward. I don't know if that's because they want it to be like first name, last name, versus first name, last name, because Sasha isn't Sasha, she's Sasha Banks. But
Right.
Like it's weird.
But it's going to be interesting because I read an article about this today where the title kind of said like WWE is starting to add last names to people, and it's like no, they're not. They're adding a last name to Charlotte, even though it's always been implied she's been Charlotte Flair. That's never how they've referred to her. But like we had Antonio Cesaro and Alexander Rusev, Adrian Neville, Colin Cassidy, all the Big E Langston. Like there was all these other names before, and they've been cutting them down. So is this going to be a trend that we keep seeing?
I think they're specifically doing it for her, and not to her benefit. But like, I don't think it's we see this as a trend. It's like no,
it's a corporate thing.
Yeah, it depends on what sounds better. Like they're never gonna call Kevin Owens just Owens.
No,
like it sounds better as Kevin Owens. Like Rollins.
Well, because Kevin sounds like that guy that beat you up in high school, which is his character.
Yeah, whereas like Rollins can go either way. Like
Seth Rollins. Yeah.
Rollins, like it works.
You can't go just Banks though, but you can't go Sasha.
You can't go Sasha.
Yeah.
But so like they're having this really hard time like getting over with the crowd. The crowd's chanting boring.
Which, oh my god,
To be perfectly honest, it was fucking deserved. Like it was really deserved. It was there were bad promos.
It became boring. Charlotte was great.
No.
And then it became boring.
Mick Foley was great.
Oh, Mick Foley like saved that shit. Oh my god.
Mick Foley is when I started to lose it.
Really?
Yes.
What? Why?
He started great, and then he just wouldn't stop. Like, he had, like, 3 different versions of the locker room speech in that same one. It was like, dude, first one was okay. Second one, all right. Third, we get it. We fucking get it. When will this fucking end?
I think he did exactly what he needed to do because they're basically doing the Oprah, you get a Hell in a Cell match, you get a Hell in a Cell match, so it makes it sound less intimidating.
Yeah.
So having someone who literally doesn't have a hip
Yeah.
and is missing an ear and missing teeth and is known for his matches with Hell in a Cell...
Yeah.
Basic saying, no, you think you understand. You've watched some tape.
You really don't
understand. You see me limp to this ring literally every single night.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't think it's necessarily that match. It's just, overall over the course of time. But kayfabe, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that promo was great.
Yeah.
Like, whether or not you agree that it saved it, I thought that it was the best promo of all 3 of them.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
I thought Charlotte started that segment strong, and then Mick Foley kind of carried it to the end.
Yeah. I'm gonna do a weird jump right now because I want to talk about
I'm not ready.
If we're gonna talk about promos regarding Hell in a Cell, I actually want to give it up to Rusev.
Yep.
Yes.
Because he made this, like, first of all, his promo was great.
It was pre-recorded.
It was pre-recorded.
But Brock Lesnar's promos are great when they're pre-recorded.
Yeah, but even his reactions in the ring when they got to the microphone parts were pretty good, too.
Yeah.
He's way better at ad-libbing than Roman.
He is. I'm really starting to really like Rusev.
Broken English Rusev, greater than Roman on the mic.
Yeah. but he made a statement.
Even in the moment.
He made a statement which made everything more powerful, which is like, Hell in a Cell is only as powerful as your opponent that's in the cell with you. And it's like, and that's why I'm not sweating Hell in a Cell. And I'm like, oh fuck, Rusev.
That was good.
And it makes the whole like Undertaker Mick Foley thing way more. It's like, you were in the cell with fucking Undertaker. Of course the cell's fucking dangerous. Like,
yeah.
So it gave it a little bit of weight, and I'm like, you're fucking awesome.
Yeah. No.
So do you think these storylines continue past Hell in a Cell?
What match is this for Rusev and Roman? This is
3.
3.
This is 3 for Sasha, Charlotte,
I think this is how you
right?
end it for them.
I think
for Sasha, Charlotte, that thing's gonna go on forever, man.
I think this is going to carry through to WrestleMania, potentially. No, it'll carry through to Royal Rumble, and then we'll start seeing Bayley integrated. We'll probably have a Bayley, Sasha, Charlotte 3-way at WrestleMania.
Yeah, because I think Dana's taking the win at Hell in a Cell over Bayley, just to time it out, because like they can't have
They have to build Bayley up as the underdog.
Yeah.
And she's been facing jobbers.
and she's been winning like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So, those guys had microphones, but one guy did not have a microphone.
Oh man, he
one
doesn't
guy did not need a
microphone.
microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a pretty incredible moment where like the crowd is so into the moment and knows all of the words of this thing. Like this is what that
it took
cheesy,
them
like,
a little while to sync up, but then they did, and it was great.
Right. So it's like this is one of those stupid moments as a wrestling fan where you're like, oh yeah, my name is Enzo Amore and I am a certified G and a bona fide stud. Like I know the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
But for that, fans knowing the whole thing, for that to be part of the gimmick, that doesn't happen very often. It's
It
really
felt like
cool.
a magical moment.
And they trusted
Like,
it and went with it too.
Yes,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
awesome. I definitely feel like Enzo's he's getting a little bit more freedom with his writing.
Oh yeah.
Because there was a time where every week I got kind of bored with seeing him because it felt very forced.
Yeah.
And I was used to seeing him only every few weeks in NXT. But now it's like, it's getting refreshing again. And I don't know if it's just they're letting the reins off, kind of like what they did with New Day.
Yeah.
Back when everyone hated New Day and then they let them have a little bit of freedom and they just ran with it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what's happening or maybe they're just finding the groove.
I wonder though, like every time someone does good, we say something akin to like they're letting them have the freedom. Like they were bad before because of the writers, and they're good now because themselves. Like what if they were just finding themselves before?
I mean, it could be.
Right.
Like,
And then they just got better. Like he could have made up that president joke or that Packer thing that was boring from like 2 months ago, you know. And then now he's back to
I mean, it's
making
October.
bullshit.
They've only been on the main roster since April.
Yeah, like not everyone can always kill it. You know?
Yeah. Speaking of someone who can't always kill it, I'm just gonna jump ahead to Paul Heyman. Speaking of that.
Oh, he kind of phoned it in.
Yeah,
I was surprised.
Weird. I'm always like, if anybody's gonna sell me on Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, it's got to be Paul, because I'm not excited at all for this match, and neither was anybody in fucking Minneapolis. Which, I mean, it's Brock's hometown.
Right. So
Yeah.
I think there's two parts here. That maybe there was assumption that because it's Brock's hometown, maybe Heyman didn't have to try as hard because like Brock's already going to be just like crazy over, and that crowd was pretty hot the whole night.
Yeah.
Like they got into shitty wrestling fan mode where they started booing a bunch of the women's matches and whatnot. But I think the other thing, because the thing that Paul Heyman's been doing a lot with this Goldberg gimmick is he's like, oh, that name.
Yeah.
And as soon as he says it, the crowd starts chanting, Goldberg, Goldberg. That didn't happen right away.
it didn't.
And you saw Paul Heyman kind of struggle, like waiting for the crowd to take the bait,
Yeah.
and they didn't. And I
Yeah.
think that was ultimately the thing that kind of spun that out of control and made the whole rest of the promo feel not very strong.
Yeah, I feel like he was like banking on something to happen.
Yeah.
He was banking on a crowd reaction because
And
it's
like-
Paul Heyman. That's what he does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like that end of that segment was so jarring.
Well, he brought it back, like, you know, it had to really lead him to water with the saying, like, when you say that, it pisses him off. Then the crowd's like, oh, now we'll chant it, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, but
like,
then they started chanting Goldberg sucks, and
Yeah.
Brock is just laughing his ass off, and it's like, and you could tell like Paul Heyman's like, fuck, this is not where I wanted to go with this. I want him to be pissed off, not laughing.
But I gotta say, the week before, during Goldberg's thing,
Oh my god, I love that.
Oh man,
I loved it.
I'm gonna actually say the thing I was gonna say.
Sorry.
So, I also loved it. I thought it was surprisingly good. I never thought of him as good on the mic, and I thought he did a good job.
Yeah,
I was, like, it was a believable, like, you know what, I got one left in me, and I kind of liked,
It felt-
as cheesy as it was and knew it was coming, I liked when he said, like, and you'll be last. I thought that was cool.
I felt it was well rehearsed,
Yeah.
which he never seems to be. And
Yeah.
I was happy with that.
You got like 13 years of rehearsal in you.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. You know, you can tell they can see that from the video game on, which is
Yeah.
the thing they're going to do. So, you know, whoever the next guest star is, you know that they're coming back, right?
That's
so.
the thing that I hated was intersplicing his entrance, which was cool that they continued to do the backstage like security guard style thing, right?
Yeah.
But they interspliced
The video game
the
footage.
video game footage.
I mean, that
into
is
it.
getting to be a little much.
And I'm like, I understand like the reason
selling
he's
it.
here is to sell the video game, and I get it, and it's marketing, but him just being there is enough marketing. Why do you have to like take away from his entrance in this very impactful moment to show graphics that aren't actually all that good?
Let me tell you one way you can get Roman Reigns over. Have him fucking spear Goldberg and give Brock Lesnar the match.
Oh my god.
As a
yeah.
heel.
There you go.
Oh.
That's how you do it.
They won't do that, though,
They won't
It will
do
obviously.
never happen.
They won't do that.
No, they'd make them fight each other spear for spear at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That would be the fucking poster, and we'd all boo the shit out of Roman Reigns.
I really liked the Goldberg calling out his wife and his son
Yeah.
in the audience. That they've never seen him do this kind
Yeah.
of thing.
I mean, yeah.
And then the camera's on her, and she's like crying at the end because she's like, "Oh my god, like my husband
Was the
just
old
got
guy
this
his dad?
amazing." I think it might have been his dad.
Yeah,
They
that was
kept
his dad.
showing it. All right. And
That
I,
was
I,
his
all
dad.
right.
The politician looking dude.
Yeah.
Yes. I thought it was like, it looked like a
It was
skinny...
like, is this like a local politician?
It's like a
Is this
skinny,
basketball
ill
coach?
Laurinaitis.
Yeah.
Like, weird.
Yeah.
He didn't even want to seem to do the Goldberg chants, probably because is that his real name?
No.
All right.
Goldberg?
Yeah.
Bill Goldberg? I don't think so.
I
Okay.
don't know.
But yeah, so it was, I mean...
How do you feel about him, one, being called the Icon, two, being called whatever best champion in WCW history?
Yeah, he's been called the
I mean, they're doing their usual thing where they, you know,
yeah,
over...
they put him super
So
over.
Yeah.
Sting was the icon,
Yes.
and the best champion in WCW is Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Like-
now Goldberg's both. But
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
fair,
yeah.
he
Well,
hasn't been injured to
the other
death
two
yet.
don't wrestle. So
Yeah.
as soon as Goldberg gets injured by Seth Rollins,
Yeah.
then
But I mean, there's been multiple icons. Like Sting's the icon, but like in WWE or F in his time, Shawn Michaels was the icon, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like, well, okay.
How many
well, those
icons
guys-
can there be until it's no longer special?
If you look at my desktop, I got a lot of icons. So I guess wrestling works the same.
I have none. I fucking hate them.
Yeah.
Hide that trash can
Yeah.
as much as I can.
So moving on to New Day versus what did I call it? Sakaramus?
Sheamus and Cesaro.
Oh,
Cesaro.
Cesaro.
It's just like it doesn't. It's
I'm
What
trying to
was
figure
it?
out.
What was the one he said? Cesaro?
Cesaro.
Cesaro.
Let's go with that.
You know, they've had single matches. They've been building this up for a while. They've had single matches. They don't.
Goldberg is his real name.
Okay.
Oh, really? Okay.
William Goldberg.
Sweet.
We learned something.
I mean, it's like
Wikipedia.
it's not like it's a super cool sounding name, so it makes sense that he got to keep it, right?
It's cool when you say like Goldberg, which is how
Right.
my dad said it when I
Yeah.
was growing up, and
Yeah.
it sounded like the most badass name ever. So
Yeah.
anyway, Cesaro, Sheamus versus New Day.
Yeah, so they've been building this up for a while.
Yep.
And I've been pretty excited about having them team up because I think it's the best thing for them at this time.
I love I'm sorry, I just love the entrance. Like when then the Sheamus part cuts in and Cesaro stands there like, the fuck you doing?
Yeah.
And I love
And
that
then
the
rips
New
the suit
Day
off. Yeah.
plays on that, and
Yeah.
it's just like, oh yeah, Cesaro's great, like amazing athlete. Oh yeah, and then there's Sheamus.
And
Like,
there's
nobody
Sheamus.
likes
Nobody
him.
likes Sheamus.
Yeah.
I feel like New Day is a personification of
The crowd?
the squared circle without all the crap.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like they just take all of the funny shit. Like they really internet really loves Claudio Castagnoli. They love Antonio Cesaro,
Yeah.
and everybody fucking hates Sheamus. So let's just tie this into the storyline. Like,
Yep.
It's perfect.
Yep. So they gave him the win, which usually means that, like, if you're going to be a shitty wrestling fan, you're going to be like, okay, so they can't
I
win.
need to trademark that phrase.
Shitty wrestling fan.
Shitty wrestling fan.
You're not going to win at the pay-per-view, but they got to keep them together. So I'm going to say that they actually do win twice in a row with New Day, and they take the titles.
I mean, the reason you win before a pay-per-view is to look strong.
Yeah. But yeah.
I mean, they gotta lose at some point so that they have somebody that either Enzo and Cass or Bullet Club can beat.
Yeah.
So, like, they need some, placeholder title holders.
Yeah,
right?
pretty much.
So, at some point, New Day's gotta lose in an inexplicable manner to someone that is gonna be crazy, funny little story.
That way
right?
it doesn't hurt you,
Yeah.
your gimmick, hurt, all three of you, like... Because them going against Enzo and Cass, like, that's not good.
So the one thing that would make me think that they don't win it now and they'll win it at Survivor Series is because they've started mentioning the new record.
Yeah.
Is that like
I
they've
don't
got to
think
hit like 470 days, right?
I don't think they'll be at the record by the time Survivor Series. So
No, it
that'd
could
be
be
more
Royal
like
Rumble. It could
and
be.
That's a long time.
It's a long time, but it's like, it's like if you want Cesaro and Sheamus to be a thing, they basically have to win either this one or the next one.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and I think, like, is it really super important that the New Day get the Demolition, like, unreasonably long ass record? Which, I mean, like, dude, they're already in the record books. Like, I don't think it's necessary for them to overtake Demolition. Not that they're not a better team than Demolition. I totally think they are, but
I think it's interesting in this era seeing a group hold a title for so long. Like when CM Punk held the title for as long as he did.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And we won't see that again for probably a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Because in a show that is very hit driven and needs to focus on ratings every single week to
They
have
gotta
one
switch up
person,
the title.
you got to switch up the title. So to have a group that has the title that long in the modern era, like you almost want to reward them with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the part of the thing though is for a time, especially with the CM Punk one, was that he wasn't the main event, so it kind of didn't matter as shitty as it is to say.
He was the champion, and he was still being
Right, which is a lot of the reason why he was so
left,
upset
yeah.
and why he was right. So like. That's also why it can still work a tag team, because tag team kind of never is the main event. It could be the thing you enjoy the most, but it generally doesn't headline the show, right?
Yeah.
So I think it could happen, but it also there's no rule that you have to always break the records. Like Shitty Wrestling Brain agrees that they're mentioning the record, therefore it must be a thing, because the last 2 or 3 times they have, that's been what's happened, right?
Yeah.
But
Like,
maybe
CM Punk
they'll
didn't
break it.
He didn't break every record. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
no, but I mean, like,
just
they
went
did
to
it
number
for
5
the women.
on a long time.
When they mentioned the women with AJ, then they broke it.
Yeah.
They've mentioned records a lot. The last couple of times, I feel like they've invoked records. It's been the break 'em.
Right.
So, yeah, we'll see.
I have no idea how this is going to go, but I think that's exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I thought the club would have won it by now.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah,
the
like
fact
I
that the
feel
New
like
Day still
we're in
has
this
it.
weird uncharted territory where like 2 months ago I thought was when they were gonna drop them. So like I can't think of a reason. Like that seemed like the time to do it, and now it's just like all right.
Which is why this would be the most surprising, because of all of the tag teams on the roster, I would have think the club would have been the ones to win it.
So do I.
Because they're clearly the best
Better,
at
yeah.
wrestling.
Yes.
I want to talk about Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because Curtis Axel like really came into his own.
Yeah.
Like hometown boy, Minnesota, but like bringing about Mr. Perfect and his grandfather and all this shit. He's got his new shirt, and he was just pumped and ready to go. Yeah. And I love that they gave him that opportunity. Yeah, it's like it's the same kind of feeling, like not on the same scale, but it's the same kind of feeling as seeing someone like Heath Slater win a tag team title.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about him and also Titus
O'Neil
with the brand.
Make it a win.
And it's like, there's some room there for those guys to really build.
Those two guys could work.
Yeah, I mean,
they could work.
I don't know. But yeah, no, it was awesome.
I do not like current Bo Dallas though. I loved cheesy motivational poster, passive aggressive Bo Dallas.
Yes,
it like was now really he's funny. Just angry all the time. Yeah, and carries a sign that looks like Trump. And I'm like,
See, that's why they did miss the opportunity to have Bo Dallas be like the Owen Hart to the Nation of the Domination. Yeah. Back in the day,
that would have been awesome.
Like, and make the New Day a faction. Like, they guess they could still, but now that he's done this other different angle, it'd be awkward. Yeah. Then again, they rammed Lana back in with Rusev.
New Day drops the belts, turns heel, joins up with Bo Dallas.
Yeah, like that's how like a way to salvage this whole thing, right?
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Who knows? So, Jericho, Owens, Rollins, the list, Steph.
So like the
yeah.
So I think this is I maybe I'm just overthinking this, but as I usually do, I think it's. Jericho, that was Jericho's last show. I think he's going on tour.
Really?
I think that's how they gave him a whole episode. Like, the whole episode was pretty much about the list.
I think this is WWE realizes they have something going, so then they, like, completely go in on it. Yeah, that's what I thought this was. Either way, I feel like it was great. Like, to have him start the show looking upset.
He was looking like he was going to cry.
Yeah, no, it was great, right? And I love that his whole gimmick is literally... I put people's names on a list.
Yeah.
It's one of those simple wrestling things that works so well.
Yeah. I just kind of felt like it, like, don't get me wrong, I did like it, but I felt like it was so much that it overshadowed the actual Owens and Seth Rollins match. Like, they're not even building that up so much. It's more of, like, focusing on the friendship that is KO and Jericho. So for me, I was like...
Do you have any thoughts, Kyle? Because I know you're waiting on the...
You're chomping at the bit.
The Kevin Owens Jericho feud eventually.
I mean, they've been slow cooking it. It's under the heating lamps. Like, the meal's been made and it's keeping it warm for a long time.
Just kind of a nice simmer.
So, yeah, it's going to happen. I mean, they continuously tease that the breakup's about to happen, and then it doesn't happen, right? Yeah. So that'll happen either somehow during the match or in the weeks afterward, probably.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I liked actually how they had Rollins win that match. I thought
that was neat. That was interesting.
Yeah, I was like I was surprised. He seems to handle being the face a little bit better this time. But it's still an awkward process for him, you know? Yeah.
It felt like the same way. It felt very mysteriously like the same way Roman is a face, where it's like he's a face, but he's a bully.
But Seth's got way better charisma. So he can pull off his awkward moments better. It reminds me more of the early, like, kind of Stone Cold transition. Yeah. Where, like, and even CM Punk, we're like, oh, you're doing it different now, but we're still cool with you.
So I was talking about this with my husband as we're watching Seth Rollins quickly turn face, right? And he says, oh, great, he's going to be the high school bully heel. And it's the same heel, or the high school bully face. Sorry. Yeah. It's the same face that Cena plays.
Yeah.
It's the same face that Roman Reigns plays. And we talk about how being a face is much harder than being a heel. Yes. Most of the time when we talk about, like, Sasha, for instance. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why I'm dreading this, because this character doesn't have a lot of depth. Mm-hmm. The only thing you can do is break down your other opponent, which isn't actually a real good guy thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then where do you go from there?
Yeah,
it's you end up losing faith in the crowd because you can't come up with these quick quips all the time.
Yeah. It was kind of funny because I figured that when he came back from injury, that was going to be his big face turn. And don't get me wrong, the payoff of him shitting on the crowd was hilarious and amazing.
Yeah.
But you did lose something in that now you can't be like, oh, it's the fans got me back here, and like you couldn't.
I really just missed the fans.
Yeah, like you couldn't make that genuine switch. Now you're just high school, like you said, like
it's high school bully face.
Yeah,
it's dumb. I don't know.
So you're not enjoying Rollins right now?
It's not that I'm not enjoying him.
His matches are fucking awesome.
I mean, yeah, as a wrestler, he's great. Like, I'm talking purely storyline.
Yes, correct.
I think that he's good because he's paired with Kevin Owens and Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what will happen if Rollins starts feuding with someone else. Because Jericho and Kevin Owens are off the charts with how great they are. Yeah. Like, the only other people, who else on the roster could fill that role against a Seth Rollins face?
Yeah.
Well, I would go, I turn that around and say, Rollins is the only one who could hang with those two right now.
Both technically and
on the mic.
Yeah.
And that's why, though it makes this specific incarnation kind of awkward, Owens is the established heel, and Jericho is great as, the shit-eating patsy. So, you need Rollins in that role. So whenever the shuffle happens, that will be the time to look. If he keeps doing
Rollins
the Cena
is a
thing...
face, Finn Balor comes back as a heel.
Yeah, I mean, you said that last time.
Yeah.
So, that would be great.
I said it last time, and then I forgot. Now I feel really excited.
Yeah.
It's
I
just came up with this.
Don't feel cool, because 2 weeks ago you said it already.
Damn it.
Yes. But
I know, but,
I was going to argue for
I think this is how they navigate this specific one,
because...
we haven't seen face Owens, right? And both
I don't
Owens
want to.
and Rollins have been quasi gray area face through this weird insurgency where the fans want to cheer for them, and so WWE's finally all right, we'll give you one of them as a face, but they still kind of don't know how to pull it off, right? They reluctantly they toned down all the cheering for when Rollins showed up and pedigreed Roman Reigns. They're you're not supposed to like it that much, And that's, I think, why, there's some hubris there, why they made him, then shit on the fans and then ultimately gave him what they were going to have anyway, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be... Yeah, I would really like your prediction there to come true, Brittany, with the Bauer thing, and it's a great way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of face, how do we feel about Stephanie face?
Is it face? Because I feel like it's sometimes it's...
No, it's fully awkward face, I think.
Yeah.
She's businesswoman face.
Yeah.
She's doing good decisions for the business.
Con ever she's actually going to heel. They've had, in fact, it's not.
It's fake face. It's she's playing face, but as a fan, you're just she's going to fuck somebody over at some point.
Yeah, but they haven't even been giving you that, story-wise. If you just look at the story and don't think of years of experience, she's being a cringe-worthy face.
Yeah.
Right?
But if you it's
her and Mick Foley, the awkwardest of high fives, right?
Yeah.
At all times.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
It's that really awkward my boss is kind of cool, but I don't want to hang out with them, and they give me a high five, and I know
it's kind of different.
I don't think it's a long con because they're not. They've stopped referencing that it could be, right?
Yeah.
When they'd say, "Well, I don't know how to try," because they did that originally, and then they even cooled off that.
It's kind of almost the opposite, where it's Mick Foley loves Stephanie, and Stephanie is oh fuck, shit.
Yeah.
I kind of don't want to high five you.
I don't know. I'm kind of liking businesswoman face Stephanie.
So am I.
Just because it feels like she's trying to remain that awkward boss kind of everyone's friend, but also at the same time everyone's boss.
Yeah.
And, I don't get to see that character very often.
Yeah.
Because the authority figure, not using that name intentionally, but the authority figure in the storylines is always the heel.
Yeah.
So I just like this because it's different.
Yeah. No, she's playing a legitimate authority figure, as in I'm doing things that you, for the most part, are for the benefit for the fans, even if sometimes it doesn't seem like it.
Mm-hmm.
She's playing herself right now, and it's doing really well.
So we're running short on time. We should probably do some predictions of the stuff that we haven't really touched on yet. Bayley versus Dana. What do you think is going to happen?
Dana.
Kyle?
I don't know. Bayley, I guess.
I think Dana's going to win, as much as I want Bayley to win.
Right.
Enzo and Cass versus the Club.
Ooh. It depends on what... I'm going to be a shitty wrestling fan. If it depends on what time... are they starting the show? Because if they are, they're going to fucking win. They're great to put... get the crowd excited.
I think
Enzo
it's exactly that, yeah. Enzo Cass start the show, win. They keep making the Club lose, and that's dumb. But that's what they do.
TJ Perkins versus Brian Kendrick. Will TJ Perkins lose on purpose so that Brian Kendrick can feed his family?
I don't know if you...
I don't know if you caught this on Raw.
I totally missed that.
Okay, so there's this locker room segment after the Cruiserweight match between Rich Swann and Kendrick.
Yeah.
And Kendrick's like, oh, no, man, I really need this. I really need this, man. I need you to help me out. And he's like, well, what do you need me to do? He's like, I need you to lose, man. And
Oh
like,
my god.
oh, and then like TJP just looks at it and picks up his bag and walks away, and I'm like, that could be really interesting.
Oh my god, that's amazing. I don't know. I think Brian wins because TJ Perkins hesitates. But even if he loses, if Brian Kendrick loses, this could still be a really good story.
If Brian Kendrick wins, he could be the greatest heel ever
Oh my
because he
God.
convinced someone to lose a scripted match intentionally.
Yeah, that'd be pretty rad. I hope Kendrick wins like in that way.
Yeah.
So
New
we
Day.
kind of touched on that on New Day and
Yeah, we talked
Sheamus
about
and
that a lot.
Cesaro. So let's just say officially, like, you think they're
I
gonna
think
win?
Cesaro.
I think Cesaro Sheamus. What do you think?
It's hard not to think of it in a shitty wrestling way. I feel like, why would they have New Day lose now? They had him win at times when they probably shouldn't have. So I'll go the other side and say, fuck it, they'll just keep going forever. They'll break the record. They'll go all the way to WrestleMania.
1,000 days.
Yes,
Go for it.
exactly.
Okay, Rusev Roman. Do we care to even talk about it?
Yeah,
Oh,
Rusev, I hope he fucking destroys him. I hope
Yeah.
Roman Reigns actually gets hurt. I'm finally going to say it for once. You should never say you want someone to get hurt. I hope he gets hurt and he's gone for a while.
Fuck. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Kyle's just, I can't. Can't.
Yeah.
Because of the Hell in a Cell, too, so it's their fault.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the beast that is the Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so Charlotte is 13-0 at pay-per-views. Hell in a Cell is in Boston. Who wins?
Fuck, I don't know. It's like,
Because I was thinking
it's
about
like,
that.
Like, things collide. I
It's
don't
like,
know.
this is literally...
There's only one answer then. The one no one wants. Some shitty version of a tie.
Oh, that's horrible.
They could...
They-
oh.
God damn
I don't
it,
want
Kyle.
that, but I just got this
Yeah.
weird feeling that this pay-per-view is going to be terrible.
God damn
just
it,
threw it
Kyle.
in my
It's going to
mouth
be
a
Hell
little bit.
in a Cell. All right, if I got to pick a winner, though,
I'll give it to Sasha because it's been going too much back and forth.
Their roster's not big enough.
That's true.
yeah, gosh, I feel like Charlotte's just better still right now.
I think...
I think Charlotte wins and it forces Sasha to be heel, and maybe she goes heel versus Bailey, and that's like something that can happen. And then Charlotte gets to beat some people up for a while to stay busy.
They really need more people in that division.
I think Sasha's going to win it. I don't know why or how. I just have a
I don't know
feeling
what you
Sasha's
do
gonna
with
win
Charlotte if it's not in a title picture. She's too good to just...
it. Take some time off.
Yeah, that's always an option.
Take some time off. Put Bailey in the title picture. Turn Sasha heel because that has worked so well for them in the past.
Yep.
Yeah.
KO versus Rollins.
KO.
Uh,
As much as I want to give Rollins a title, like
Kevin Owens is the greatest thing to happen to Raw in a long time.
doing so good.
It's literally the Kevin Owens show.
Yeah.
I think I said that last time,
Yeah.
right? Like it's
It's
insane.
been great.
are there stipulations against Jericho's presence in any way?
No,
there's none.
he's just
Alright.
not
But
in
it's
the
Hell in a
cell.
Cell, so he can't be in there, but he can be outside.
Yeah, but they're breaking the cell all the time.
Yeah,
and doing things.
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like, let's say Jericho writes fucking Kevin Owens' name on the list through the fence, and then that distracts him enough to lose.
Ooh.
And so Rollins wins, and then that sets up Owens Jericho for a while.
Yeah.
And
That could work.
Rollins.
I really wanted Jericho in that fucking match.
I did too. I was really
Yeah.
sad that it didn't turn into the triple
I mean, that's
threat.
the easy, perfect way to have this go the way it should, right?
Yeah.
Is that, he turns on him.
Because I think that would have been more
Then
interesting.
you just have a triple threat on the Monday Raw after, and you change the title.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like they've
it's
been
weird.
doing. I don't know.
Man. But do you feel like it's gonna be like? Do you really feel like it's gonna be a shitty pay per view? Do you think its trajectory is not looking good?
I've been high on a lot of the other ones leading up to this one, but this one, just a weird feeling about it. It's like top heavy, right? The other ones just feel like nothing is. There's like clear winners, so that you have to engage shitty wrestling logic brain to talk yourself into the alternatives, which is usually never good, right?
I will say I am gonna watch pre-show because pre-show is a 6-man tag with cruiserweights,
Ooh,
and that will be
totally
fucking
watching
fun.
that.
Okay,
So if anything, I'm excited about
The
it's
pre-show's
pre-show.
gonna be great.
Yeah,
that's
pre-show's
cool.
gonna-
It's good to get hyped for the
Pre-show's
pre-show.
gonna be great. The women's match is gonna be great.
Oh, yeah.
Charlotte's gonna do something crazy.
Oh god, I'm so afraid.
She like that.
Don't die.
That's why Sasha's gonna retain, because Charlotte's gonna literally fucking kill herself and
Probably.
not wrestle for a very long time.
Well,
Yep.
if you want to watch pre-show, make sure you have your Mountain Dew Kickstar hydrating boost, and then you'll be good.
Yep.
And you get that quality breakdown.
Touted out.
Yeah.
All right, that'll about wrap it up for this week. If you like the podcast, you can find us on Twitter at OnTheHeelsWP and Facebook.com/OnTheHeelsWP. You can find our podcast through a lot of different services, including iTunes, SoundCloud, and the YouTubes.
So subscribe to the podcast, leave us some comments, give us a 5-star rating if you're listening on iTunes, and of course, tell all of your wrestling buddies about the podcast. Message us, tweet us, tell us random wrestling stuff because we love to talk about it.
So thanks for listening to the podcast. Tune into the next episode where we're going to recap Hell in a Cell. We're going to recap Horror Business, which is not in the script, but we're definitely going to do that.
We're
fucking
definitely
going.
talking about horror.
And then obviously they're all after Hell in a Cell. So it might be a bit of a longer episode, but there's going to be lots of cool shit to talk about.
Yeah.
And after that, all those questions are answered. We will ask the latest eternal question. What is the best name for the Sheamus Cesaro tag team?
I want to go with Charisma Factory or Crowd Connectors.
Did the Irish and the Swiss ever fight on the same side in a
I
war?
don't know.
Like
Super white people.
Eurotrash?
Super white. Eurotrash.
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 Oh my god.
It'd be better if they became like
Because he's
really...
literally hot garbage.
Yeah. Well,
That
they're both
works.
technically European, but we're thinking only one is trash and the other is just Euro.
The other is uber European.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Perfect. Oh my god.
I don't know. I think Eurotrash is better.
I love Eurotrash.